Welcome back to the channel, guys. Today I'm going to be talking to you about why and how to do a lazy bed and why it might be the best option for you over, let's say, a back to Eden garden. So let's go ahead and get started. So the beauty of a lazy bed is you can make a raised bed, you can make mini swales basically, and the reason why that might be beneficial for you is the same reason it's beneficial for me. You can see this is really wet. We just had a lot of rain come through, and this is an area of my yard. It's the area of the yard that I have to use for my garden, and it just so happens to be a very moist area where it collects water and it retains it. It doesn't want to go. I have clay soil here in the foothills of the Blue Ridge Mountains, and the water just wants to sit and sit and sit, and that's why I'm taking the lazy bed approach. So here you can see the bed. I've dug down and I've piled up right here. Now what this does, yes, it exposes the topsoil. That's not always the best thing, but it's getting this saturated ground down here and bringing it up to here. It's taken me about 2 days to get these rows dug and mulched. The most time-consuming part, as you would guess, is the digging. Something that I've learned to do is let it rain first. You don't want to be digging in dry soil. It's going to be very tough to dig in. And something I want to address before we go any further is the idea of moving and messing with the soil. Yes, when you move and mess with the soil, when you plow it, when you do a lazy bed, when you just do a standard raised bed, when you double dig, you're changing the soil for what it is. Joel Salatin says it takes 100 years for soil to get back to where it was before you disturb it. And what this makes is a scenario where you get the idea, should I move the soil? Should I not? You get stuck in the middle. You don't know what to do. You're confused. I've certainly been there. I'm there right now. I'm trying this out. We're going to see how well it works. And the biggest reason why I'm using lazy beds is, like I've said, I've got this clay soil. I'm kind of in a bottom here. I've got a hill to my north. It runs north to south. Sorry, south. It runs south to north. And all this water drains through here, starts to collect at the bottom here, and that will end up saturating my plants and killing them. This is also kind of playing on the idea of swales, which is a permaculture idea. Now, a swale, I don't know the textbook definition. Somebody in the comments will probably know. Does it have to be yay high and yay wide? I don't know. But the idea of what I think a swale is it's using the land in order to catch more water, and not only catch it, but hold it, retain it, and it'll drain slowly throughout my garden. And that is something that we want to do, especially in these hot July, August months, whenever rain is hard to come by, and it'll end up to where we have to water every single day. Let's go through a little bit of the process and show you how I'm doing this. I'm taking 2 shovel lengths, 1, 2, in order to make the path for my raised bed. And then I'm taking 2 shovel lengths, 1, 2, to dig. To make this and put it as simple as I can, taking it, digging down, turning it over, and that's basically it. And I'm doing this for 2 shovel widths, basically a spade length down, and this is creating my bed. And this is really a simple, and I would say easy, but it's quite a bit of work, but it's a simple process. I'm able to get my beds cultivated quickly, and whereas a back to Eden garden might take you 2 to 3 years to get fully established and let the wood chips completely break down, doubling up this topsoil should allow me to have pretty good results this year. If you're worrying about your bed being straight, you might want to get some line and line it out. I'm not worried about it. I want it to have function. I want it to look okay. I want it to look decent. I'm not worried about it being pistol straight, so I'm going with it like it is. As you can tell, this soil is kind of coming out in chunks with this clay. All you gotta do is, as you dig it, come through, break it up a little bit. This might not be 100% necessary because of the way it's going to function after the mulch gets on top, but I just like to get these big clods broke up and thoroughly mixed in. So some other things that you can do to establish your bed is you might want to use a cover, okay? Like I said, the mulch. You might want to take it a step further. Get some cardboard or some brown paper, which I'm not using, and cover the top. When you're disturbing this topsoil, you're flipping the seed bed, and it's actually going to be a probably a little bit of a problem this year with weeds, but that's okay because this bed, these lazy beds, yes, I'm disturbing the soil, but my goal is to never disturb it again in this spot. I'll just continually add mulch. It'll be a back to Eden, lazy bed, swell mixture that I hope is going to work. I want results this year. I want to have minimum impact on the soil. And honestly, I think this is the best way that I can do that. I'm going to do an experiment. I'm going to be trying out hugelkultur with this, and I'll be linking that up here. And also, I'm going to do a straight back to Eden bed, which I'm going to link also up here, and you'll be able to view that whenever I do that. And what I'll do is the hugelkultur. I'll get some of this mulch. I'll lay it down first. Then I'll flip the topsoil. Then I'll put more mulch on top. And back to Eden, what I'll do is I'll get some compost, which I'm currently making. I'll lay it out on top of cardboard and then mulch on top of that. So we're going to see which bed works best, lazy, back to Eden, or hugelkultur bed. I'm interested to see, and with this, the way that this soil is here that I have, this red clay in Western North Carolina, I'm interested to see how well the plants do. Everybody around here breaks the ground, plows, tills, and plants into that. They hoe their rows and get them set in line, and then they plant into that. So I'm excited to see if this will work. I don't know anybody around here that's tried it. It's an unproven theory that I've just seen on the internet, and you're going to get to see if it works, even if you don't want to do anything. I'm getting to put all the back into it. I'm excited to see what happens with this. Like I said, this channel is me documenting my journey through life. I'm doing the best that I can with what God's blessed me with, and we're going to see what happens. So if you'd like to follow along the journey, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'm happy to have you here. So if you want some ideas about what to plant in your lazy bed, you can go click on this video right up here. It's a pretty comprehensive list. It's all the seeds I bought from Baker Creek Seeds, and it's what I'm going to be planting in here. Drier vegetables like dill and oregano, okra, some things that prefer drained soil, do really good in these beds. And adding the mulch will help the other plants that are heavy waters like tomatoes and cucumbers to really thrive inside of this bed. So again, go click this link right up here if you want to watch that. This is what I'm planting in these beds, and we'll see how it turns out. Come here. Sitsa. Lay down. Paul. Are you trying anything this year in your garden? Let me know. I love to swap information. That's the beauty of the internet. It has its faults, but it also has its good parts. So let me know what you're doing. Now let's talk about, are lazy beds right for you? So obviously this is only something you can answer, but from my basic understanding, lazy beds are going to help you establish it quickly. They're going to help you to elevate and to build mini swells for water catchment. I don't know how this will work in sand. I think for my clay, it's going to work really well. So if you have sand, you might want to think about that. You might want to mulch a little bit heavier than I am. So if you can tell here, I've got about a good 3 to 6 inches, closer to 6 inches of mulch on top. And that's just retaining all that moisture. It's going to break down year after year after year, and I'm not going to have to touch it as much. Another area where you might run into a problem is if you have a lot of rocks in your soil. It's a lot of digging, not as much as double digging. From my understanding, double digging is where you do this, put it off to the side, then you dig out another layer, and then you flip it, and you put the other, I don't know. It was confusing to me. Lazy bed's just what I chose. And for me, it's Irish. I'm Scots-Irish. That's where my ancestors mainly came from. So I feel a little bit of an ancestral connection to this, and it appeals to me. I'm gonna put it once, I'm gonna mulch it every year, and that's gonna be it. So as you can see, 1 shovel length down, flip it on top, then another shovel length to that side, and this will keep you pretty straight on your rows without having to mark it off and use a line, buy more stuff, and have another barrier to entry. Another thing I'm doing here with this bed is I'm doing my initial dig, coming through, I'm chopping, and then I'm cleaning up the trench and placing that. Now some of this is a little bit of subsoil possibly, but this dark brown topsoil It's all nutrient rich, and it's really going to help these plants grow. And the reason I'm doing this is to build up that soil level and to make use of what I've already disturbed. Now, when you mulch this, I've seen some people just mulch the walkways and then leave the rows uncovered. I don't like what that does. It rained on this row right here, and it was substantially less in size compared to this one after just one rain. I know that's going to happen. It's going to compact over the time, but I want to mulch everything. Like I said, this is an experiment. I'm combining a lazy bed with Back to Eden. I'm mulching everything. I have access to them, and I want to make sure that I'm getting all this nutrient-rich leaves, pine needles, hardwood, softwood, everything that's combined in this mulch. I want to get it to break down and build soil for me. And hopefully over the years, I'll get to a point where basically I don't have to weed, I don't have to water very much, and I basically set my plants in, I water them in a few times, and then I let God take care of the rest. That's the whole idea of the Back to Eden garden, and that's why it appeals to me, and it's probably why it appeals to you if that's something you're looking into. So we're going to see what this combination does of an original raised bed and this new idea of Back to Eden. And I say new, but this atypical idea of Back to Eden, mulching and not disturbing the soil year after year after year, because that's why I'm doing this. I want nutrient-rich food for me and my family, number one. I want to do what I feel like God has put forth for me to do, which is to garden and to grow and to make use of the land. And I want to make the land better. I want to be a good steward of that. I want to take care of what He's blessed me with. And I feel like Back to Eden is a great way to do that. I'm excited to see if a pure Back to Eden garden will work for me here with this really compacted soil. This area was bulldozed and subdivided in the 70s. So it's been about 50 years. I think it was farmland before that. I'm not sure what was grown here. But from what I know, this has been this way since the 70s. I don't know if any chemical fertilizer has been put on it. I know it hasn't in the past 25 years at least. So I'm excited to see what this soil can do for us. But I do know it's compacted, and the topsoil was basically taken away back in the 70s. So it's taken many years to get back to this point, 50 years plus. And I've got a lot to work with here. So hopefully doubling this up is going to help me. I'm not sure. And I'm excited to see what it does. So I hope you like this video. If you don't mind, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. I want to see how you felt about it, and I want real feedback. I'm not scared of somebody telling me I'm not good enough. It is what it is. I'm here to learn, and I'm here to get better. And thank you again. God bless you and your families, and I ask for your prayers for mine. We all need as much as we can get, and God has blessed us all, and He's going to continue to bless us. So don't fear anything. Do what you want to do in life. Do what God's called you to do, and don't look back. There's no point to. I'll see you around.